Hello guys, welcome back. Teachers come in all shapes and sizes, and I was meditating. Long story short, Happy Mother's Day, by the way. I was doing a meditation to meet with archangels, and it had this very surreal music to it that the only sound it reminds me of is the distinct sound you hear when you're riding in a car going through a tunnel. You know what that sounds like? That's what the music reminded me of. That's the only way I can describe it. And instead of meeting archangels, I started to see this blackness. And then I started to see a purple house. And I thought, oh, this is a lot like VR. Remember, VR is an illusion. It's a picture here and a picture there, and they're just a little bit different. And so you get the illusion that the VR is all around you, but really you're just looking at pictures. But it's a very convincing illusion, right? You're like, no, I've had a VR helmet on once, and I was there. No, we're really not. We're still here in this world, but it's convincing illusion. And I'm seeing this purple house. It like kind of like swoops up, comes close, and at first it's like on nothing, then it's on a little bit of ground. Then somehow I'm by it and it's in a row. And I go in and there's this little gray. And I don't know why they call them little grays because he's about 4 or 5 feet tall. He's not like this teensy weensy beansy alien. He's 4 or 5 feet tall. You know, the grays, with the big heads and, the eyes and everything. And he's watching TV, but it looks like MTV. It looks like MTV back when it was cool and they actually played music. Yeah. And he's like, watch this, watch this. And I'm watching MTV and it's these little alien spaceships like the cartoons they used to have on MTV come down. And he's like, this is it. This is happening. Not like an alien invasion or something, but the aliens are coming, or rather, they're already here. You just have to tune in. You just have to tune in. And I swear I don't do drugs. And he has these alien spaceship lights I used to have. My UFO lights were one of my most beloved items because I'd never seen anything that colorful before in my life. I got these in the 90s. And they were these spaceships, and like the top would be lime green and the bottom would be purple, and they would be all these crazy combos of colors. And they had these little antennas on these little spaceships. I remember that very distinctly, and I love these things. I love these spaceships. They started to fall apart, and I didn't know what kind of glue to use to put them back together that wouldn't, catch on fire or something. And then something went wrong with it, and you couldn't get them off the lights. It was like one of those strings of lights where they're just on there forever. So I ended up throwing them away. I've never seen a replacement string of them. I wish I'd kept them, but he had repaired them. They were all repaired and they were all ready to go. And he was trying to hand them to me. And I'm reaching for them. And he says, he wants me to take these lights. And I was wondering, like, if I grab these lights, and I get them in my hand, can I pull them out into this swirl? And my head's turned and I'm starting, as I'm meditating, you're aware you're meditating. And I'm like starting to see this pulsing light like in front of, I think, my right eye. And I'm almost there. I'm almost grabbing these lights, and I think I hear my order arrive today. I'll pop right back out. But he was like trying to say, see the wonder, rediscover the wonder in the world, rediscover, our teachers come in all forms, and you've become rigid. You've become a very rigid pagan. You have all these roles of what gods are and what what everything is, and you have everything compartmentalized. You have aliens over here and you have gods here, and you have you know angels over here, and you like to have everything in its compartments, and you like to have everything apart from each other. And when you were a little kid, we would have totally been down with aliens with angels on board the spaceship, meeting gods and whatever else. Kids have great imagination, adults not so much. And it was like kind of like break down all those barriers. Like you don't have to have your mind so open that your brains fall out, as the saying goes, but be more open in that your teachers can come to you anyways. And I thought, I have seen some UFO level stuff in my life that I've never really talked about to anyone because it wasn't like hugely spectacular, but it was like looking up and seeing this, it looked like the mothership above me and being like, and then for some reason something told me, go inside because this is the part of the movie where you black out for 4 hours. So I was like, it was kind of like a choice. It was kind of like, would you like to stay out here and find out what will happen? I was like, nope, going back inside. And I've seen stuff that I would attribute to, say, gods or goddesses going to something else, like these huge blue lights and everything. And 1 second, guys, I need to refill my drink here. Okay, sorry about that, guys. And I just got the idea that, as we come into paganism, so that people respect us and take us seriously, we leave all that stuff behind as childhood far out woo nonsense like Bigfoot and UFOs and angel encounters and all this other stuff. We're supposed to leave it behind because we're adults now. We're adults now, and adults don't believe in Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. And I live in an area where people will tell you they've met Bigfoot. We have them in this state. People will be like, I met Bigfoot and he's real, and let me tell you something. He really does smell bad. Or they'll tell you something else about him. And, I'm like, I can see a great ape, existing. I can even see another offshoot of our common ancestor that for whatever reason retained the hair and, lives out in the woods and thinks we're all stupid. They probably all go to MIT, just go in disguise. And it was like, come back to that. Come back to that kind of X-Files that I want to believe, that aliens and Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster and all that fun stuff. And forget about, being a real pagan or being an adult pagan or, doing all this stuff that you're supposed to do to prove your worth to people. Forget about doing all that. So 1 second, please, guys. Sorry about this. And it's just, sorry about that. It's just one of those things where it's like, here's where you have a choice. You can keep going on and being pagan and being serious and learning all these rarefied lessons and going that way, or you can go have fun and explore the universe because I've kind of like topped off. I'm not some guru. I don't know it all, but as far as this road goes, I've gone as far as I can go. I've hit the end. It's probably why Loki spun out of control and Odin spun out of control. They've been trying to come up with stuff because there's really no further they can take me. And Odin became the worst possible version of Odin, and Loki became the worst possible version of Loki. It would be like if we all tried to stay in kindergarten all our lives, and we tried to learn those same lessons over and over and over again. A good loving teacher wouldn't let you do that. But let's say you had way too permissive a teacher and they kept you with them way too long because they were like, you're so precious, you'll stay young forever if I keep you here, right? Because you're a little cute kid. And they keep you there. And let's say they do manage to keep you cute and little. Eventually, sometimes they realize they have to stop being selfish and let you grow up, right? They have to, not so much let you grow up, because I'm starting to mix my metaphors here, but they have to, you have to keep going on and having new experiences. You have to meet other teachers, you have to do other fun stuff, and you do end up growing, but naturally. And it's kind of what I'm getting from the alien and what I've been getting from other stuff too, of you have to circle back to where you started, all these UFOs and, Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster and X-Files and all that good stuff, and, explore. And I have been looking at these 3 aliens because, remember, Loki got his way on everything. And I'd really wanted a giant alien, but what I ended up getting was a kind of spaceman because I was like crunching all my little pennies together and I was like trying to be as economical as possible. And I love the spaceman. He's cool, but he's not alien cool. And I came across 3 aliens and I'm like, no, no, no. Where am I even going to put them? Like, you guys really want to see inflatable aliens behind you, right? After June comes and we hear whatever they have to tell us, who's going to want to see aliens? And this isn't the UFO channel. But, but I come back on and I'm watching all these movies because YouTube's got the special sauce on their free movies lately, and I'm watching this movie. And an ad for Disney Plus comes up and it says, get all three. I'm like, get all three what? Get all three what? Get all three kinds of way of being? Get all three aliens? Get all three whatever? And I said, okay, universe, if you want me to get all three, you got to either drop me a little more change, or you got to drop me a sign. And I went on to Pinterest, and I'm getting all these caterpillars, like you're in a time of transformation. And of course, Loki and Odin keep trying to get back in. Loki wouldn't be so much the problem. I know he's a hothead. I know he'll take Odin's side for all eternity. Odin would be the problem. Odin would be the one that would drag me back down and would clip my wings and would say, no, you're not studying aliens and Bigfoot. You have lessons to learn. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do that. I'm like, nope, I quit school. I'm going out and I'm having fun because we're not going to go anymore. And I think once he saw I couldn't do the runes, he saw I couldn't do all this other stuff. I think he's aware of the fact that he could keep trying to force me into the mold he wants me to fit in, wearing all these furs and being a bro-holla dude. And, maybe he could break me enough to fit me into that mold. But he would lose anything that attracted him to me. He'd lose the fun side, he'd lose the creative side, he'd lose the side that, wants to go look at fairies and UFOs and aliens and practice magic and do fun things and just have joy in the world. He would lose all that. And the problem with the Odin, one of his weak spots, is he won't care. He is very much like children when they're 2 or something around that age, where they want something and they don't care what has to happen for them to get it. They don't care. They literally have no concept of shame or concern or anything else for other people when they want something, right? They want it and they want it now. They don't care if somebody gets hurt. They don't care if somebody gets stepped on. They don't care if something has to become something it's not. They just want what they want. And that's a weakness he definitely has in his personality. And I was talking to God last night, because to keep it real with you guys, and I said, look, you've given me an impression that I'm almost a teacher to these gods. Not that I'm vainglorious and think I'm above them, but that humans teach the gods as much as they teach us. I said, I can't handle these 2 students. You need to take these 2 class clowns and you need to give them a better teacher, because I said, they don't respect me. They're walking all over me. Yes, they're gods, but they're not learning. They're not learning. I said, the only thing they're going to learn if they get back in is do whatever you want. There's no real consequences in the real world. Walk over humans as many times as you want. Lie and betray their trust as many times as you want. And they'll always take you back. So do whatever you want. You don't have to grow. I said, that's not a lesson I want them to learn. I don't want them here because I want them to learn the lesson. I've already forgiven them, but I'm like, I want them to learn the lesson that, yes, your actions have consequences. Your actions have consequences. And maybe if enough people teach them those lessons, give them a little tough love and go, okay, you know what? Your actions, they have consequences. They'll brighten up and they'll go, oh, I can't do whatever I want. Just because I'm a god doesn't mean I get to be a god and get my way all the time and bully humans and lie to them and trick them and betray them and get whatever I want. They have to grow up sometime. And I said, I don't have the force of personality to make them listen. I said, again, gods don't listen to us, but I said, they don't respect me as a teacher. They don't respect me as a human being. They don't respect me as whatever we are to the gods. Sometimes I think we're pets. I said, they don't respect me. I can't teach these students. You have to send them on to someone else who can teach them who they will respect more. I said, unfortunately, they seem to get people that will buckle and they'll start wearing all the furs and all the teeth and everything and not thinking really of where did that come from. And, because I made myself watch. I made myself watch how, wolves are killed, and I made myself watch how fur animals on a fur farm are killed. Because I'm like, no, I'm not going into this blind. I'm walking in with my eyes full open. If I can take that responsibility on myself for that happening to that animal, then fine, I can go get the fur. At least on a fur farm, they'll take the animal and they'll get ground up into dog food. Oh, where do you think it comes from? And I said, at least that happens with, mink stuff like that. I don't know if they do it with wolves or anything. Probably don't taste good. Probably not foxes either, but I know minks are supposed to make dog food out of them. I said, I can't do that. I'm not that person. And if I did betray myself to get him a fur or something, it wouldn't be me. It wouldn't be being authentic to myself. And I said, there's just something about him. He's almost feels poisonous when I'm in his presence now. And I said, all this weird stuff has been the universe shouting at me that it's not good anymore. The well is officially poisoned. There's nothing he can do. There's no atonement he can make, anything else. And I've been talking to the others to see, am I being too harsh? Are they meant to be here? Loki wants to be here, of course. Loki wants to come in, have fun. Loki's the more easygoing one. He really wouldn't care if I went off and did stuff, but then he gets greedy and self-centered and he wants his needs met. And I'm like, oh. Any other god I know, they're like, you want to do lessons today? Yes, if I do, great, we'll do lessons. If I don't, that's fine. It's not this, we're doing this today because I say so. Every so often, Coyote will give a little push, but not too much. Not too much. And with Odin, it's just like we've reached the end of the line. We are very different people. He wants to be over there with those people, no judgment. And I forgive him because, snake's gonna be a snake, dog's gonna be good, trickster's gonna be a trickster, but I don't want him in my life either. If he's taught me anything, he's taught me that he'll never change, that he'll always be the same. And I said, I can't teach that. I literally can't teach that. If he thinks he's perfect the way he is, I can't teach that out of him. So, any idea of me as a human teaching the god a lesson, I can't teach that out of him. He will never learn. He will just go, well, people don't accept me the way I am. You ever know people like that? They're not going to change. And you're like, well, guy, here's a serious flaw you have, and you might think you're perfect the way you are, but this is why you turn people off. You lie, you cheat, you steal, you whatever, you're mean-spirited, whatever. This is why you turn people off, and that's not perfect because you shouldn't be doing that to people. Some people don't want to change. Some people don't want to level up. They think they're perfect the way they are. I've noticed that about Odin. Odin recognizes no higher authority. Thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. Has to be. Likes to swindle people. I'm like, no, not really. I don't want that in my life anymore. And his energy just feels anymore real dark. Real dark, real down, real heavy, real noxious. I mean, there's sacred darkness. Don't get me wrong. There's sacred healing, holy darkness. It just feels like, ugh, ugh, when I'm around him anymore, and I'm like, no, no, mm-mm. I gave him a chance. I gave him repeated chances to level up, be that Oski, be that guy I believed he could be. That Oski doesn't exist. That new age Odin that people have, encountered that, is all love and light and hugging bunnies and rainbows and everything. I can't get him to show up in my life, so I'm like, you know what? Okay. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna do what the universe is calling me to do, to explore these aliens and Bigfoot and UFOs and all this other fun stuff. And I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna meditate and I'm gonna work with angels and I'm going to work with, I don't know, work with saints, work with gods, goddesses, go back to working with dragons or gargoyles, do all this cool stuff. But you, my friend, are not on board for this because this wouldn't serve your self-interest, so this is the parting of our ways, and I'm not mad. I'd rather go try to chill with Bigfoot. I'm like, we've had sightings in this area. This is something I should like to look into. We also have vampire legends in this area. It is like the coolest place on earth to live. We also have ghosts. It's like, you know what? It's kind of like we have New Orleans right here. So, I should be off exploring, having fun, seeing the coolness and weirdness of our universe. And, Odin's just not on board for that. Loki might be, but I get an idea he's bored and disinterested, and as much as he tried to pop in today and have fun, that's not his idea of fun. I think he's just popping out too. So we're gonna part on okay terms. Okay terms. It's like, you know what? We're just not walking down the same life path at this point. So if you guys like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.